The warmest of welcomes to Mercedes in Uruguay. We are starting another round on TCR South America. Live from Mercedes in Soriano departments. Another round with a much better weather than yesterday. And the TCR South America grid with 16 cars getting ready for another round in this Sunday, with Rafael Reyes after a surprising pole position in the end of the qualifying yesterday, bringing down the standings leader, joint standings leader, Pedro Cardoso, who is level on the lead of the standings with Juan Angel Rosso, who had a nightmare of a qualifying session without being able to squeeze into the top 10, struggling with the rain yesterday. Freezing morning in Uruguay, 9:30 a.m. with an air temperature of 5 Celsius degrees. That's 41 Fahrenheit degrees. It's a freezing morning. Track temperature is 10 Celsius degrees, which would be translated into 50 Fahrenheit degrees. Whichever is the temperature measure we take, it will be very, very low. And here in the background, we have car number 17 by Matias Rossi, the Toyota Team Argentina, in his Corolla. After an engine replacement, he's dropped back 12 places in the grid. And therefore, he will start race number 1 from 16th and last. Won't be any easy task for the Argentinian. You see Rafael Reyes in the black Cupra, number 77, on the left side of the screen, starting from the first place. We'll hear from our pit reporter, Mariano Colombo. Soriano department celebrating their 400th anniversary in this race. Last stop in Uruguay. And here reporting that Rafael Suzuki is pulling out of the race in this race number 1 with some engine issues. Unexpected news, but really shocking news for Rafael Suzuki, who was in a very positive form in the last rounds. 40 kilos of compensation weight in Pedro Cardoso's car number 43 behind our reporter. Now, heading into Rafael Reyes' car, we'll see if we can find a little word from him. Rafael, a good chance for scoring good points. For sure, good chance. But it's a tricky condition. Still a bit damp. I don't know if starting first is so positive. Very cautious is Rafael Reyes, speaking in Portuguese, language that we can give a quite reasonable translation. As you see, the empty 6th spot on the grid, that's where Rafael Suzuki should be. He won't be there, so we'll have 15 starters. As you see now, the championship standings with Juan Angel Rosso pulling away 7 points from Pedro Cardoso pulling away 7 points from Juan Angel Rosso. Rafael Reyes in 3rd. And the unfortunate Rafael Suzuki, who won't be able to race in this race number 1. In 4th position. Behind is Juan Manuel Casella in the 5th position of the standings. Car number 60, the Honda. Starting right behind the empty spot of Rafael Suzuki on car number 62 or left. And there's Rodrigo Baptista, who after a big crash in FP2, managed to make it into the qualifying and grabbed a good spot for race number 2. TCR Trophy Championship on screen now with Fabio Casagrande leading on 278 points, just 2 points clear from Guilherme Reichel. Enrique Maglione from Uruguay in third. And now we'll go into this race. Formation lap about to start in Mercedes in Soriano departments, the equal to any province or states in the Uruguayan map. And we'll start in a second with Rafael Reis on the left of your screen and Pedro Cardoso on the right. Here we have Matias Rossi in behind, just behind Guilherme Reichel in 16th. Anyway, Rossi shouldn't have much of a problem to start in the early stages of the race, pulling up in the order of the race. The 15 starters we have now in the formation lap. And here we see the starting grid. Led by Rafael Reis in a W2 Pro GP Cupra. In second is Pedro Cardoso from PMO Racing. In third, we have Norberto Fontana with the Toyota by Cobra Racing Team. Paladini Racing is in fourth with Fabian Gianantuoni. Gali Dosman with the second of the 3 Cupras in W2 Pro GP, started in fifth. Rafael Suzuki didn't make it into the start, as we explained, with engine issues. Was set to start in sixth. Behind him, Rodrigo Baptista, the big recovery of Saturday, starting in the Honda of Squadra Martino. Juan Manuel Casela, the Uruguayan, in 8th place. Leonel Pernilla from PMO Racing. And Diego Nossetti, the Uruguayan who has pole position for race number 2. Juan Angel Rosso takes 11th, missing narrowly the top 10. Fabio Casagrande in 12th, followed by Enrique Maglione from Squadra Martino, another Uruguayan. Guilherme Reichel starts in 14th. Matias Rossi closing the line. Here is Rafael Reis. And now here we are with the cars in the formation lap. Rafael Reis arrives to the spots. So does Cardoso. So does Fontana. Gianantuoni will start in 4th. This race number 1 of TCR South America. In Mercedes in Uruguay. There's the Dr. Carr finding his position. Green flag is waving and will start now the race. 5 lights and we go in Mercedes. A slow start by Norberto Fontana. Rafael Reis pulls away in the lead, followed by Cardoso trying to find some grip. In third, we find now Fabian Gianantuoni jumping up and battling for second with Cardoso. Gali Dosman is behind in fourth position. Reis with a comfortable lead, and Fontana trying to recover after his slow start from fifth position now. From third, dropping into fifth as the cars are going through. Oh, there's a contact. I think it's Nocetti. I think it's Diego Nocetti spinning off and hitting the wall, the tire barrier. We'll see if this brings a safety car, as Matias Rossi already won 2 spots from behind. Reis is leading ahead of Cardoso. And it's Juan Manuel Casella who squeezed his car farther up in the order, I think. Here's Norberto Fontana back in third. Gian Antuoni in fourth. And Leonel Pernilla moving up in the order, also winning some spots with the Peugeot. All the cars struggling to find any grip. Here is Reis, closely followed by Cardoso. The lead of the race is in jeopardy with the 2 Brazilians battling each other. We have Diego Nocetti spinning off, apart from Rafael Suzuki, who didn't start the race. And Reis is now being under big pressure from Cardoso, who's neither comfortable from Fontana in third position. And we have a safety car now. Yeah, safety car is out, following the crash by Diego Nocetti. And we already have race neutralized. Fontana in third, then Gian Antuoni in fourth. Pernilla, Casella, and Baptista all jumped ahead of Gali Dosman, who seems to be gone from the order also. And as we said, yeah, Diego Nocetti is out of the race. Let's have a look at the start once again. You can see at the front that Norberto Fontana took a slow start. And here is the pack behind the safety car. Diego Nocetti spun, and he was in his first entry ever in TCR South America. He was set to start race number 2 from pole position. He qualified in 10th. We'll see if his car is in good condition for it. As we have a safety car. Look at Osman diving into the inside following Fontana's slow start. And there is Nocetti spinning. Got a light contact with the tire barrier. Doesn't seem to be big damage for the Uruguayan. Anyway, heartbreaking, as he was having his first race in TCR South America. And here is the Toyota back in pits. Nocetti making it into the pit lane. And the race is back in green flag. Here's Reis leading ahead of Cardoso. Gian Antuoni having a close look at the inside of Norberto Fontana for third position. In fifth is Pernilla. Behind is Juan Manuel Casella. Here's Cardoso chasing Rafael Reis anyway, making really good business towards the title battle against Juan Angel Rosso, who is down in the order. As there's Thiago Vivacqua going into the inside of Gali Dosman. So is Matias Rossi. Osman doesn't seem to be so comfortable. And Norberto Fontana struggling to survive in third. Attacked by Gian Antuoni. There's Gian Antuoni going from outside to inside. Gian Antuoni. Oh, contact. Contact with Norberto Fontana, who manages to stay in third. But will lose a bit of momentum. And there's Pernilla moving from fifth to third. Great advantage capitalized by Leonel Pernilla from that contact between Gian Antuoni and Fontana, the Argentinian touring car legends, battling each other. There's Fontana in third. Pernilla remains in fourth, and Gian Antuoni dropped to fifth position. There's another contact, and Gian Antuoni spins off. Gian Antuoni's off track. Fabian Gian Antuoni's off track and losing all terrain he could. And that leaves now Fontana in third and Pernilla in fourth. Loads of riff-raff from the third place to fifth one. Race closing another lap. We have 3 laps completed, not 2. Pedro Cardoso is in second place. Here's Fontana, Pernilla, Casella, and the race now seems to be stabilized a little bit. So look at Matias Rossi already in 8th place, making a quick quick recover in the Toyota. Possibly the drivers from TCR Trophy wouldn't be much of a problem for the Argentinian master. But still we have Suzuki, who didn't start, Nosetti out, and Guilherme Reichel in 14th and last. We have 14 cars remaining. Here's the whole pack, and Fabian Gianantoni dropped down to 13th. He will be able to recover a few spots, but we'll have to see how his car in what condition. 19 minutes in, the clock yet remaining. Cardoso having a hard time to catching up to Rafael Reyes. As there's Gianantoni already going into the inside of Fabio Casagrande, the TCR Trophy standings leader. Here the race anyway is led by Enrique Maglione, who is in 10th, leading the TCR Trophy. Race coming up into the main straight, closing another lap. Now we have 4 laps completed. And now the laps seems to be improving. Juan Manuel Casella set the fastest lap of the race from 5th place, 1:22.4. We are 4 seconds off the pace from yesterday in qualifying. Rafael Reyes here. And there is Fontana already chasing and attacking Pedro Cardoso. He has the best line for this turn, surviving ahead of Fontana. Fontana trying to resist on the outside. Now let's see if he goes into the inside. Yes, he will do. No, he has to go back to the normal line. But Cardoso surviving the attacks of Norberto Fontana. And this is capitalized by Rafael Reyes, who manages to pull a little bit more away. 2/10 in Sector 1, 2/10 in Sector 2. And there is Pernilla. Pernilla attacking Fontana. Leonel Pernilla attacking Norberto Fontana for 3rd position. But Fontana surviving, taking care of the inside line. And here's our leader ahead of Cardoso. Both seem to be trying to pull away from Fontana in 3rd, who is still trying to control the attacks of Leonel Pernilla, who runs a little bit wide, trying to find a better line on track. In the meantime, Casella remains in 5th position. There's Casella attacking Pernilla. Baptista also going on the outside. The battle between the 2 Hondas and the Peugeot in Mercedes. In the 5th, 6th lap of the race, we have 5 laps completed. 0.6 of a second the lead from Reyes to Cardoso. Fontana is in 3rd. Matias Rossi split in the pack in 2. From 8th position, there is a gap of a bit more than 2 seconds to Thiago Vivacqua, who is in 9th place, ahead of TCR Trophy leader Enrique Maglione. There's Maglione. Behind him is Gali Dosman, who dropped a lot. So did Gianantoni. Rafael Reyes is there, followed by Pedro Cardoso. Norberto Fontana in 3rd. Pernilla is in 4th. And Juan Manuel Casella is in 5th. That remains untouched. Oh, contact! A little bit of contact between the 2 leaders. And Pedro Cardoso moves into the lead. But I think he might have to give back that position. After the contact with Rafael Reyes, we need a replay. We need a replay of this. Pedro Cardoso surprised Rafael Reyes, I think. And now the Peugeot is leading the race. The standings leader pulling away more than ever. That's the replay. I think there was a contact. It did seem like a contact between the 2. There is Juan Angel Rosso in 7th, chasing Rodrigo Baptista. And here is our leader. New leader, at least, as far as now. Cardoso moved into the lead. He was lapping consistently faster. But there is a maneuver between Rodrigo Baptista and Diego Nosetti under investigation that cost Nosetti the race. The Uruguayan rookie who has been racing in Argentina in the last times. Oh, Fontana is off. Norberto Fontana is off. He drops from the podium. He falls down from the 3rd position, which is now in control of Leonel Pernillas. Rossi overtakes Juan Angel Rosso. Matias Rossi beating Rosso, now jumping into 6th place. As Norberto Fontana will have to see how many places he lost, which are certainly loads of, as Matias Rossi now has the lap record of the race. Cardoso closes another lap. We are now in 8 laps, 7 laps completed. Fontana dropped down. We'll see the replay here. Was there any contact from Pernia? We can't see clearly. If not, it was a long break-in by Fontana. And now Pernia jumps into 3rd. Cardoso, Reis, Pernia, Casella, Baptista, Rossi, Rosso, Fontana. The top 8 now. Here's Pedro Cardoso leading the race ahead of Rafael Reis, the 2 Brazilians. We have an Argentinian in 3rd place, that's Leonel Pernia, and a Uruguayan in 4th, Juan Manuel Casella. Baptista is now in 5th position, ahead of the Toyota of Matias Rossi, who seems to have a very strong pace. He was sanctioned with 12 places of penalty after replacing the engine yesterday previously, prior to the qualifying. Here is Enrique Maglione leading TCR Trophy. 7 seconds from the lead. You are watching TCR South America from Mercedes, Uruguay. My name is Francisco Aure. It's a pleasure to be with you for this race as Pedro Cardoso closes lap number 8. Now we are on the 9th lap of the race. Rafael Reis is now 1.2 seconds behind. And here is Fontana trying to recover, attacking Juan Angel Rosso. So does Rodrigo Baptista on Juan Manuel Casella. 4th place at stake in this moment of the race between these two. The Uruguayan holding off the Brazilian. Rossi is in 6th. There's Cardoso turning, pulling away more and more from Rafael Reis in the last lap. He set the fastest lap of the race, 1:20.87, 0.4 of a second quicker than Rafael Reis. And he extended almost another 1/10 of a second in sector 1. 0.4 of a second more in a sector 2. Rafael Reis now under control by Cardoso. But now Reis has to focus in surviving from Leonel Pernia, as a good point gap might help him to catch Juan Angel Rosso in 2nd place of the temp tournaments. Pedro Cardoso, who comes from scoring a marvelous podium in El Pinar in the previous round in Uruguay among the TCR World Tour pack. There's Rodrigo Baptista blocking Matias Rossi, and Norberto Fontana goes into the inside, overtaking Juan Angel Rosso. We have yet 11 minutes and a half on the clock. Reis now being deeply attacked by Leonel Pernia. Oh, crash for Juan Angel Rosso. He seems to have had a contact, or it's an engine issue. Seems to be fire coming out of the engine of Rosso, and this could give us another safety car. Unfortunate for Juan Angel Rosso. And Pedro Cardoso is celebrating this. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen. 2nd in the standings was Juan Angel Rosso. And now this is also good news for Rafael Reis, as Rosso is slowly coming out of the car. Cardoso leading now 2.2 from Reis, who is just half a second ahead of Pernia. 0.7 from 3rd to 4th, who is Juan Manuel Casella. Reis in 5th. Rossi in 6th, now Fontana is in 7th, followed by Vivacqua, Maglione, and Gali Dosman now rounding off the top 10. Fabian Gianantuoni is in 11th. Casagrande and Reichel, the 2 survivors. By the bottom of the pack, there's Thiago Vivacqua holding Enrique Maglione. As you can see, they go by Juan Angel Rosso's car. He stopped outside of the track in a runoff area, so that might prevent a safety car. Here is Rafael Reyes. Behind Leonel Pernilla. Pernilla is in now a big momentum on Rafael Reyes. Reyes doesn't seem to be so comfortable after the contact in which he lost the lead to Pedro Cardoso, who is now closing another lap. We are completing 11 laps. And now the fastest lap is improving more and more. Now it's in hands of Norberto Fontana, 1:20.13. Now the track seems to be a little bit dried out. There was a little humidity. As we said, it's a freezing morning in Mercedes in Uruguay. The air temperature was just 5 Celsius degrees. That represents 40 Fahrenheit, sorry. And look at the championship now. Pedro Cardoso pulling away clearly from Rafael Reyes and Juan Angel Rosso, 35 points. Reyes now suffering the races in which he missed. Good results. Here's Reyes second, followed by Pernilla. And Juan Manuel Casella also with a napkin in the neck, waiting for some contact between the second and third. Now Reyes in a second position. Pedro Cardoso is now closing another lap. Now it's the race entering its final third. 3.3 seconds the lead from Cardoso to Reyes. The pace of Pedro Cardoso is simply master. Marvelous pace in the number 43 Peugeot. You can see a clear race focused on preventing Pernilla from moving up. Casella and Baptista all behind. And Matias Rossi and Norberto Fontana want to get closer to fastest lap set by Pedro Cardoso in the last lap, 1:20.04. Matias Rossi locking up the brakes. There they are. Rafael Reyes. Norberto Fontana in seventh. And look at the huge gap between Fontana and now Maglione. As Thiago Vivacqua dropped 2 places behind Gali Dosman and Maglione in the Toyota of Cobra Racing team that has a spare Toyota after Fontana moved to Squadra Martino. Maglione in 8th place in overall, leading TCR trophy, comfortably ahead of Casagrande and Reichel. We got 14 cars racing. That's the fastest lap we were talking about. As the conditions are improving, so the cars are improving their best laps. Pace is improving lap after lap as track is getting a bit warmer. We are on 10 a.m. now, local time in Mercedes. Still very cold morning. Here is Reyes, a bit more comfortable now, 1.2 seconds behind Leonel Pernilla, who is almost a second behind Casella. the leader. Race. Yesterday we were shocked by a huge rain coming by the end of Q1 that impeded the qualifying to develop normally. Q2 had to be red flagged yesterday because of the very tricky conditions. Leonel Pernilla is in third, comfortable behind Rafael Reis and trying to keep Casella well off danger. Last 3 minutes and a half in the race, and now we go under the 120 mark. 119.59 is the fastest lap now set by Pedro Cardoso. There's Rodrigo Baptista collecting a very good point scoring after his FP2 disaster that had his team working really hardly to repair the car. There's Rodrigo Bautista chasing Casella for fourth. The only place that could be in danger yet, as the top three seem to be very comfortable in their respective positions as far as now. Now that we are entering the last 3 minutes, we'll have one more lap after the clock ticks down to 0. There is Reis behind Cardoso. Leonel Pernilla is in third place. Juan Manuel Casella in fourth. Baptista fifth. Rossi takes sixth place, minimizing damage. Following his trouble in qualifying with the engine swap. There's Pedro Cardoso. 3.6 seconds. Pace is now a bit more close between the top two. Juan Casella is in fourth, followed by Batista. That's the only battle we have. There is Juan Manuel Casella trying to stay in fourth. There's Roberto Fontana trying to recover. With clear track ahead, pulling away. Many seconds from Enrique Maglione. He's 6.5 seconds ahead of the Uruguayan. We're in the final 40 seconds of the race. 3.7 now the first and second. Cardoso and Reis this green. Pernilla is in third place. We'll see if there are any news coming from the stewards after all the contacts we had. Cardoso is leading comfortably. There is Pedro Cardoso, about to open the last lap of the race. Final lap now after we complete the 25 minutes. There's Cardoso. Pedro Cardoso pulling away more than ever in the lead of the standings. Very, very clear domination by Pedro Cardoso. Almost 4 seconds clear from Rafael Reis. Leonel Pernia on his way to get a very good podium. And here we have Thiago Ivacqua off track. Thiago Ivacqua is off track after spinning. We'll see if there is any contact or it was simply by himself. Here is Pedro Cardoso, ladies and gentlemen, on the way to grab another win after battling among the world's biggest in the TCR World Tour round in El Pinar. Now Pedro Cardoso comes out to take the checker flag, and Pedro Cardoso wins race number 1 in Mercedes. Celebration in PMO Racing. Pedro Cardoso is our winner in race number 1. Rafael Reis will finally come home in second, and Leonel Pernia is closing the podium in third. 1-3 for PMO Racing. Casella finally makes it into 4th place, and Bautista in 5th. Matias Rossi completes in 6th place. Another win by Pedro Cardoso, having a fantastic season. Here is our winner, ladies and gentlemen, Pedro Cardoso. The 25-year-old in an excellent run in this season. Very, very solid performance by Cardoso. Who had a spell in England racing in Ginetta Junior in his teenage. Switching from karting to racing when he was 16. Having raced in Euro Formula Open and Stock Car Brazil for a long time. Enrique Maglione is in the meantime the winner in TCR Trophy. Ahead of Casa Grande and Reis. In great form, the Uruguayan also keeping his title hopes alive in a TCR Trophy. And Norberto Fontana, I think he didn't make it into the finish. Yes, he crossed the line in 7th, but there's where his car stopped. We'll see if there is any trouble with him. Here's our final standings in the race. Pedro Cardoso, Rafael Reis, Leonel Pernia, our podium, followed by Juan Manuel Casella, Rodrigo Bautista, Matias Rossi, Norberto Fontana, Enrique Maglione winning TCR Trophy, Kelly Dosman and Fabian Gianantuoni rounding off the top 10. Behind, Fabio Casagrande and Guillermo Reichel completing the TCR Trophy podium. The 12 finishers ahead of Vivacqua Rosso, Diego Nocetti, and the one who didn't start, Rafael Suzuki. There's Vivacqua. He had a contact in the rear of the car, so I guess there might have been some trouble for him. There is Maglione, winner of TCR Trophy. We had 19 laps of race at last. And here is our winner, Pedro Cardoso. Making it number one to the camera. An excellent run once again by this 25-year-old from Brazil. Who has had a great run in the last rounds. Car number 43, another win for PMO Racing, a team that is dominating the season. And it's a massive record for PMO Racing also. After an irregular start with a retirement in Cascavel in round number 3. Came from scoring 2 podiums and we'll hear from our TCR Trophy winner, Enrique Maglione. A great race. I'm very happy. Yesterday we couldn't complete the lap in quali. But the track here was a bit damp. It was very complicated. We took our gamble to start very easy and hope for mistakes ahead. And I think I finished 8th overall, didn't I? Yes. So I won the TCR Trophy. I'm very, very happy. Says Enrique Maglione. The Uruguayan driver from TCR Trophy who won the race. Leonel Pernilla. It was a tricky condition. Yes, it was. I finished 3rd after starting in P9. I had to take advantage from all the complications on track, and I took advantage of all the contacts ahead of me. So I lost a little bit of pace by the end, but I'm very, very happy still, says Leonel Pernilla. We'll hear from Rafael Reyes now. Rafa, in second. I guess you were expecting the win. Yeah, but the track was really, really difficult. I've had a really big contact, so I'm disappointed. I got hit by Cardoso. But the season is long. And I have a great car for next race. Race, who seems to be a little bit upset for that move by Cardoso. We'll see. There it is. Yeah, it's a clear move. It's a clear move. So we should see if the stewards take any action. A 5-second penalty would be enough to drop Cardoso back to 2nd place. Pedro, you must be happy. Your car is insane. Oh, the car is great. I'm very thankful, very grateful to PMO Racing. With 40 kilos, we won the race. That's an incredible result. It was a very clean fight with Rafa. He committed a mistake. I opened the gap. I was there. I think it was a legitimate move. But I'm really happy. Extending the lead in the championship. And now we have the 2nd race ahead of us. He'll get now awards in Portuguese. Thanking his sponsors. He repeats that winning with 40 kilos is great for them. He reassures that his battle with Race was clean. Here's the highlights of the race. There was Reyes leading initially, pulling away cleanly. This is the battle with Casella, Baptista, and Leonel Pernilla. That's the moments that changed the race, with Pedro Cardoso jumping into the lead. He assures that the move was legal. That's the unfortunate moment for Juan Angel Rosso. There's Rodrigo Baptista, who managed to complete a very good comeback from yesterday. That's Juan Manuel Casella resisting in third. Then he would drop back. That was Baptista. Chasing the Uruguayan. And Pedro Cardoso here leading. After the overtaking to race, he started. You could see there is a slight contact at the front of his car. So that might be a big sign of a contact to race. So the stewards will have to have a look at the onboard footage of that move, because it seemed, if you ask me, it seemed to be quite a clear contact. But anyway, we'll have the podium now. And we start Guillermo Besosi Arocena, mayor of Soriano, will go into the podium to hand the trophies. Leonel Pernilla comes on the podium. Rafael Reyes, very visibly unhappy. Sports Secretary Eduardo Ulloa also to hand the trophies, and Pedro Cardoso and time for Brazil's anthem. Final word. And now the TCR Trophy podium. Guilherme Reichel in third, Fabio Casagrande in second. And in front of his home crowd, Enrique Maglione celebrates the TCR Trophy win. And the celebration for the Uruguayans with their home hero celebrating the win in TCR Trophy. Now will be time for the champagne also. Our presenter and peer reporter staying away from any possible champagne drops. And it's a wrap for TCR Trophy and TCR South America. And in 2 hours, we'll be back with race number 2. And here we are watching the highlights of the race. Rafael Reyes took a very good start. That's the cross by Diego Nocetti, who is set to have pole for race number 2 in his TCR South America debut. And that's the contact. Rafael Reyes is completely sure that move was illegal, but that's what gave Cardoso the lead. And therefore, it's what the stewards will control. That's the retirement of Juan Angel Rosso with an evidence engine issue. Rafael Reyes decided to keep the second place safe from Pernilla. And in the meantime, Pedro Cardoso went on to the win. That was the battle for fourth place between Juan Manuel Casella and Rodrigo Bautista, who gave us a very good battle also. And Cardoso open in the last lap of the race. Clearly ahead of Rafael Reyes. Pedro Cardoso on his way to another win. TCR South America after racing makes it a great run of form with 6 wins in a row. Pedro Cardoso won the last 2 prior to this one, and we came from 3 wins in a row from Rafael Suzuki also. So that's a marvelous moment for PMO Racing. An excellent domination in this season. That's the spin by Thiago Vivacqua. We didn't see this. He spun off really heavily with some trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been all. We'll come back in 2 hours with race number 2. My name is Francisco Aure. Thank you very much for being with us, and see you just in 2 hours for race number 2.